lot of conflicting views in the equestrian world regarding what's the best soap, conditioner, or oil that you should be using on your leather tack. Everyone seems to have their favorite. Some people say, don't use glycerin saddle soap. Others say, only use glycerin saddle soap. Some say, you have to use leader balsam as a conditioner. Some say, never use leader balsam as a conditioner. Who's right? Regardless of any of our own personal views on what is the best leather conditioner or cleaner, one thing that we all can agree on is that when you have leather tack, such as this, it needs to be kept clean and it needs to be conditioned. I've heard lots of different horse people, aka equestrians, talk about what you should use or should not use on your leather tack. And I have never personally tried this, but today I want to see what happens when I use olive oil on some of my bridles. We'll see. Hi again, it's me, Lisa, the Budget Equestrian. Welcome back to my channel. And if this is your first time here, herzlich willkommen. I think that's German for welcome. I don't know. I tried. I decided to try using olive oil as a conditioner because I've recently seen a lot of people that have been using olive oil and they've had really good results. I also have a couple of cheap bridles and I thought these would be a good test to see how the olive oil works on the leather. I'm not too worried if it doesn't work or if I'm not happy with it because, like I said, the leather is pretty cheap. And actually this bridle is really old. This bridle is like 15 years old and it's one of the super inexpensive ones. I think it was like $15. So I thought that this would be a good test and we'll see how it works out. I've been doing a lot of reading online about olive oil being used as a conditioner for leather tack. Some people say you shouldn't use any vegetable products on tack. Some people say it'll turn rancid and it'll ruin your leather or it will attract mice. But then you have other people saying that this is the best thing they've ever used. They've been doing it for 30 years. Their saddler recommended it. So I thought we'd just give it a go. And one of the reasons I wanted to try it was I got this bridle and it is relatively inexpensive. I think it was like $24. I got it because I liked the silver that it had on it, but it's really stiff. So I wanted to try the olive oil and see how it would work on this leather. And I'm looking at the bridle right now, and even the stitching isn't the greatest because the stitching's kind of loose. So if it ruins the bridle, it's not that big of a deal. If it doesn't work, I'm out like $25. But if it works, this could be a really good, affordable conditioner for your leather. So let's try and let's see how it works. So when you're using the olive oil for tack, I have extra virgin olive oil, Great Value brand, so Walmart. And I'm going to pour a little bit in here. I hope my husband doesn't get mad I'm using the olive oil, but it's cheap. And then it says to paint it on with a paintbrush. So I have my inexpensive bridle here and we are going to paint on the olive oil with a paintbrush. And from everything I've read, it says not to make it super heavy. We're just going to paint it on. It also says that it will darken the leather about 2 shades, which I would be okay with that because this is kind of a medium finish on this bridle and I would really like it to be darker so that it would match my saddle that I got. It seems to actually be soaking it in pretty quickly, so that's good. And see how stiff it is? This is the brow band. And it is so super stiff. It's like a V. And so when I put it on the horses, it just sticks out just like that. And it looks silly. But yeah, look at it. It's absorbing it really nicely. That's actually absorbing better than any of the fancy leather conditioners that I have. I've only used this bridle a handful of times and it's already cracked. So that's kind of a bummer. Maybe this will make it a little bit better. I guess you get what you pay for. $25 doesn't go very far for a bridle anymore. I'm going to use it on my Martin slobber straps that I got. And if I was doing this the correct way, I would remove everything and have it separate. But I'm not doing it the correct way. I'm just testing it out. So you can do it the correct way, which is probably what I would recommend. I'm just trying to see how this is going to work. So I'm doing it the lazy way. And these are some really nice Makati reins I got on Amazon. They were like $50, but they're really nice. They're pliable. They work really well. So those are nice, just in case you were wondering. And this leather is just really soaking in this oil. I'm kind of amazed, actually, at how fast it just absorbed it. So let's try, we'll let that sit for a minute now, and let's try it with the really old bridle. And there we go. I've just cleaned 3 bridles with probably about 1/4 cup of olive oil. So we'll let that soak in for a little bit and then we'll see what the end result is. And while we're waiting on the bridles to dry, how about we try it out on this really, really old halter, and let's see what we can do with that. So I did 2 coats of olive oil on my Western bridle, and it actually does feel a lot softer. This brow band is actually getting a little bit softer too. So hopefully it'll kind of conform so that it'll fit on my horse's head and go down instead of sticking straight out like that. So I just want it to bend a little bit more. So I think with a couple more applications of the oil, it will probably do that, and just with more use. But the leather is a lot softer. So I'm hoping this will make it so that it's a nice little bridle, because it actually feels a lot better just from 2 coats of the olive oil. And the next bridle I did with the olive oil, still not 100% soaked in. And I didn't do tons and tons, but this was a little cheap bridle that was around $20 about 15 years ago. The reins really soaked in the oil, and they do feel a little bit softer. So that was pretty neat. So this bridle was my first padded crown bridle that I got. I got it for Christmas probably 6 or 7 years ago. And it's a really nice bridle. I love the reins on this bridle. And I only did 1 coat of the olive oil on it. And it's still on there a little bit. But this bridle was in really good shape, and it's really nice leather anyway. So, but the reins are nice and soft. I love that, how pliable and bendable they are. And then the biggest test with the olive oil was on this halter. And this halter was one of the pieces of tack that I got in that humongous tack haul that I did. I think it was back in July. And I showed it to you briefly before, but just this leather just like drank the oil in. And it's a little bit softer. So I think this halter could be salvageable with a couple more coats of the olive oil. So that's pretty neat, I think. So overall, I have to say I am really happy with how the olive oil worked. I'm actually happier with how the olive oil worked on the less expensive bridles and the older tack than I was with my more expensive bridle. But olive oil is very affordable. You can find it pretty much anywhere. And if you don't have any other options, or you're looking for a less expensive alternative to the saddle oils and conditioners, things like that, this really wasn't that bad. It was actually pretty good. I think I will be using olive oil in the future, at least on my bridles. Not sure about my saddle yet. We'll see how it works with my bridles. And then if it works great, I might actually use it on my saddles. Overall, I think it did really well. And now, if you've ever wanted to try olive oil on your tack, but were afraid to do so, now you can see that I did it and it turned out okay. My bridles didn't fall apart. The leather is a little bit softer. So if it's something you've thought about, I think you're okay. If you're cringing right now that I used olive oil on my bridles, I'm sorry. I just had to try it. I had to see what it was going to do. I'm pretty happy with the results. Thank you so much for watching my video today. I'd love to have you subscribe to my channel. Just click on my picture at the end of this video. You can subscribe to my channel and you'll never miss another video, even when I do experiments like this one. Again, thanks for watching, and until next time, stay passionate and enjoy your ride.